Hello everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another severe weather breakdown. Now we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, including a lot of severe storms and potentially some tornadoes that are going to roll through today. We've got some tropical activity that really needs to be addressed. We've got a massive heat dome sitting in a region of the US, and we're going to break that all down today. Starting off the SPC outlook, we do have three marginal risks of severe weather today. One is here in the Midwest region, one is down here in West Texas and southern New Mexico, and then one is here east of the Big Bend of Florida going into southeast Georgia there. So let's go ahead and break down all the threats that these bring. Now starting off with the tornado threat for today, we do have a 2% risk of a tornado here in southeast Iowa kinda, and then going into northern Illinois and going into northwest Indiana there. And we have a special weather statement right now that says that in this region there could be a very small brief pop-up tornado, and these same storms that are causing potential tornadoes are going to continue to move through Illinois here, going into Indiana eventually, so we really need to be looking out for them today. We could see a tornado, we very well could. Now moving on to the damaging wind threat, we have 3-5% risks of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher. This one down here includes El Paso and Las Cruces. This one over here includes Jacksonville, and then this one over here does include St. Louis. So those are all some pretty populated regions. So 7.3 million people today have a 5% risk to see wind gusts of 60 miles an hour higher, so do look out for that. Hail threat for today, we have two risks of hail of 1 inch or larger here, both 5%. This one is in the Midwest, and then this one is down here in the New Mexico, Texas region. And this includes 15 million people. So we got a lot of people under a hail threat today, so do look out for that. Moving on to tomorrow, we already have a marginal risk of severe weather here in portions of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, as well as the Deep South. So let's go ahead and break down the threats that this brings. Now, starting off with the tornado threat for tomorrow, as of right now, it's very low and there are no tornadoes expected, but that could definitely change. Damaging wind threat, we do have a 5% risk of wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or higher here, so do look out for that. This extends all the way from Nashville all the way up into eastern Indianapolis and even north of that a little bit, and everywhere in between there, so definitely look out for that. Hail threat for tomorrow, we also have a 5% risk of hail of 1 inch or larger, which is even larger than the wind threat, so definitely look out in that region. The main threats tomorrow are going to be wind and hail. Now, moving on to Thursday, we do not have any marginal risks of severe weather as of right now, but I'm guessing that we're probably going to get one down here in Florida at some point, because every few days Florida has some pop-up severe storms. But that's just my prediction. So let's go ahead and move on to the National Hurricane Center here, where we obviously have Tropical Storm Phillipe that we need to start worrying about, but we're going to break that down later. And this disturbance is really causing some problems. This has a 90% chance to form the next 7 days and an 80% chance to form the next 48 hours, and we don't know what this is going to do, okay? It's extremely likely to form, potentially even today. It could head for the United States, it could head for the Antilles. We really don't know as of right now, so we need to be watching this and looking at its every moves here, okay? Or every move, sorry, I can't speak. Eastern Pacific, we do have a disturbance that has a 10% chance to form the next 48 hours and a 20% chance to form the next 7 days, but this is most likely not going to hit Hawaii, so we are good to go there. Moving on to the track for Phillipe here. As of right now, at about 4 p.m. CDT, Tropical Storm Phillipe is a 45 mile per hour storm. It will continue to head westward and start to have some impacts on the Lesser Antilles very soon, and pretty much stay that way for the entirety of this week, okay? We're going to get a lot of heavy rain in this place, or in these places rather, and then places that will get direct impacts from this are going to be places like the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, and then some of these tiny islands in the Lesser Antilles here. And at this point, it will only be like a 30-35 mile per hour storm, but that's still something that we need to look out for, because this is going to make a direct impact on these places potentially, so you could see the full force of 35 mile per hour winds, which would be a pretty strong storm. So we need to be watching this. We might have some storm surge possible. It's kind of unknown at this point, but all the way from the Dominican Republic back through the Lesser Antilles, need to be looking out for this thing. saying, okay? Now, moving on to the Climate Prediction Center here, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. We still have our gigantic heat dome sitting here in the upper Midwest. This is for October 2nd to the 6th, by the way. And it is starting to move off into the Ohio Valley a little bit here and even portions of the Northeast. But for the next few days, it is going to be sitting here in this region. And this whole area in the darkest color of red there, that's an 80 to 90% chance to see above average temperatures, okay? We're going to get summer-like temperatures back in these regions, all right? Some areas might reach into the high 90s, especially in areas down here like northeast Arkansas, Missouri. So look out for that. Seriously, guys, it's just going to get hot again. We might even see some temperatures in the 100s possibly. Down here, we have I can't speak. We have an area of below average temperatures likely for the desert southwest. So definitely be looking out for that. That's a 50 to 60% chance to see below average temperatures. And the biggest threat that I'd like to talk about with this is that on the the night of the 1st, going into the morning of the 2nd, we have the potential to see an ice storm somewhere in the northeast Nevada region because we are going to have some rain that's going to fall, but it's going to be pretty much exactly around the 35-degree region, but the ground will, it'll be a little bit, like, the ground will be 35 degrees, but the air might be a little bit cooler than that, so we could have freezing rain falling out of the sky causing an ice storm, so we really need to be looking out, specifically all the way from Elko back down to Ely. Definitely be looking out for that potential of an ice storm, okay? Now moving on to the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, we have a massive area of drought here with our heat dome. The worst of this, that's a 50 to 60% chance to see below average precipitation. That extends all the way down into Tennessee, all the way back up into New York, okay? So this thing is pretty big, so definitely look out for that. And then we have above average precipitation likely here for Texas and New Mexico, North Dakota, Montana, and even northwest Minnesota. So that's a 50 to 60% chance to see above average precipitation if you're in the darkest shade of green there. So definitely be looking out for that as well. Moving on to the 8 to 14 day outlooks. Nope, not 8 to 14 day precipitation. We're not quite there yet. 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here. We're still going to have our heat dome sitting here, okay? In portions of the Midwest, the Deep South, and even the Northeast New England states, alright? So this is for the 4th to the 10th. If you're in this darkest color of red here, this pink color, that's a 70 to 80% chance to see above average temperatures, okay? So once again, areas like northern Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, those places are going to have chances to see temperatures in the high 90s, so I'd definitely be looking out for that. It's going to get very hot down here again. May see some heat advisories out of this, who knows. Now, moving on to the western U.S. here, we have an area, or two areas actually, that are going to see below average temperatures. One is still down here in the desert southwest. That's a 50 to 60% chance to see below average temperatures. And then one is up here in the northwest. That's also a 50 to 60% chance to see below average temperatures. So in the darkest colors of blue there, definitely be looking out for the potential of some frost. Now moving on to the 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook here, we have a large area of below average precipitation expected. This is going to be sitting here with our heat dome still, so drought conditions will be likely in this darkest brown color. And then we have above average precipitation likely for much of the northwest, the upper Midwest, and even portions of the southwest, and then as well for Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and then as well for the Carolinas. So look out in all those regions. Above average precipitation will be possible. Finally, watches, warnings, and advisories. We have a stray severe thunderstorm warning here in western Indiana, so definitely be looking out for that in that region. Frost advisories in effect for portions of New York, and then we also have some here down here in south central Colorado, so do be looking out for that. We also have a severe thunderstorm warning in New Mexico right now, so be looking out in that region as well. Pinks, those are going to be red flag warnings, so in portions of Wyoming and California, so don't be burning anything in those regions, especially like the Los Angeles area. Air quality alerts will be in effect for portions of the DFW region for quite a while, and actually some are in effect now for the Houston-Galveston region, so be looking out for poor air quality in that area as well. But that's pretty much it for today, so if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.